At the beginning of my practice, I would avoid phone calls from the members and not attend activities. I stayed irritable, fearful, and fought everyone until it became unbearable to live in my own skin. I never studied and hardly chanted. It took me a while before I practiced, studied, and chanted. I was burdened with low self-esteem, depression, and to add to that, imagination about how my son would live in a dangerous life, even though he was in my face every day and depended on me for food, clothing, and shelter. I always complained to my leaders about his life, but left out the minor details. I was daily projecting my shame, guilt, and self-loathing on him. From his birth until I accepted that he has his own story. I was encouraged to chant more, study President Akeda guidance, to really embrace the practice and start developing my faith. My primary concern and prayer was directed to my son, wanting him to represent my madness while I explained to outsiders how I wanted him to turn his life around. It was really difficult for me to face the facts that my parenting skills played a part in my child's choices during his life. My major depression, self-loathing, and fear of people. All I could do was chant and receive encouragement, and guidance on the situation. I was told that I had to change my comment. I wanted to know what comment I had to change. I had to read and understand what freaking comment. Then I had to develop humility over the intellect that I discovered about Buddhism. Wasn't I employable? Didn't I have a home? Still. What I discovered, my emotions depended on approval or disapproval or humor. Therefore, my home was cold and always judging. Not till 2003, I started faithfully attending my district meetings and participated in the Sophia Women's Division Group for 4 years. The major test for my faith happened 4.5 years ago on September 28, 2007. I was home alone when I received a call from a friend that my son had been shot by a cop. From the time I received the phone call to 15 minutes later, my world stood completely still. In my darkest hour, I could do nothing but pace the floor. I felt I did not have the strength to endure what was to come. I had several choices: kill or be killed, have a stroke, pick up a bottle of booze, or chant the miracle. At that moment, I had to win over my darkness. All I had was the principle I had learned in this practice. I turned to my altar and chanted to regain emotional clarity and wisdom. I remember telling my Mother Hansen, if my child must go, do not let him suffer. I remember the long walk to identify his body and the incident in the hospital when a white and black doctor came to tell me my son died as a result of a gunshot wound in his back. When the black doctor talked as if I was a stereotypical black ghetto mother and my child as another gangbanger without roots or principle, a deep, still calmness came in my soul and voice. When I spoke, the doctor shifts his tone, posture, and offers his condolence. During this 24-hour process, I received a phone call from another doctor about donating my child's organ. He commented how composed I was during the whole ordeal. I was in shock about his compliment and comment. During what I felt was my darkest hours, I was filled with rage as people made disparaging comments or passed judgment based on my faulty impression of what is to be a mother, father, human, and a member of society. Only the cop and my son knows what happened. My son chose a life based on faulty information from his parents and society. He chose to live like a lotus flower in murky waters. He taught me many lessons when I was arguing for him to change based on my fear of societal rejection and my own low self-worth. To embrace my rage, I kept remembering two Gosho quotes: "Suffer what there is to suffer." And winter always turned to spring. On the day of the memorial, my superior assistant and myself was wondering how the memorial and ceremony would work in a funeral home. The owner and the director of the funeral parlor was a Buddhist. She handled everything, including contacting members. We were in awe when the memorial started and realized that the Buddhist member had positioned himself discreetly within the crowd. I was supported beyond my wildest imagination from all walks of life: religious, community, work, and social environment. I experienced what the Gahanza explains, the importance of a good friend who assists or encourages one another in the practice. I had the strength to eulogize my child. My biggest regret was today I know no youth, whether troubled or assimilated into society, way of thinking and living, dream of becoming a thug, a woman of the night, loser, and many young dreams are deferred until they resolve to stand for something. 4.5 years have passed, and dealing with the minds and other human emotion who suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome, walking with an aneurysm, and working and living with a diverse community, plus losing my beloved. I am not defeated by those circumstances. I continue to check in with my doctors, attend AA meetings, and open my home for Buddhist meetings and activity. When my emotional clarity becomes unfocused and darkness tries to overtake me, I increase my chanting. I do not put conditions on my sobriety and happiness. I have learned to turn problems into a positive situation and a springboard for my happiness.
Hey.
Life happens, and each challenge is for me to go within and demonstrate my happiness. Does not mean that I'm not mourning sometimes.
That's okay.
I talk about the practice to others and always encourage youth in my neighborhood, social, and work environment. I have been asked to participate and share my experience in a document entitled Stolen Life, to be shown to other families who have had their son's life taken away by the police. I am determined to continue studying, participating in meetings, and opening my home to cultural and fruitful activity. I want to end with a quote from Nichiren Daishonin. When a tree has been planted, though fierce wind may blow, it will not topple if it has a firm stake to hold it up. I am no longer apologetically saying I'm a Buddhist or a Black American woman. I am thankful every day for AA for sobering my emotions and for Nam-myoho Renge Kyo for being a philosophy about actual proof for my happiness and service to all mankind. Thank you.